Ladies and gentlemen, Dameon Nelson here with a man who there is no doubt that you are a true legend in the business. Jimmy, the mouth of the South.
You know what? I love Dameon already. This guy's great.
Today, the mouth of the North, Jimmy Hart. Jimmy, welcome back to Milwaukee. Tell us a little bit about your impression of our great city this time.
Well, you know what? I love it. I've been here for so many years. I feel like I ought to buy a summer home here. But, of course, I was here with the WWF many years ago when I was managing the Honky Tonk Man and Greg the Hammer Valentine and, of course, Hulk Hogan and the Hart Foundation. The list goes on and on. But it's always great to come back here.
Let's talk a little about your beginnings in the wrestling world. Okay. Take us back to how you got into the business and what made you want to get into the business.
Well, first of all, I was in a rock group called the Gentrys. We were one-hit wonders, in case you wonder out there. It was called Keep On Dancing. We toured with Sonny and Cher, the Beach Boys, with Dick Clark Promotions for about 7 years. And like anything else, when you don't have a hit record, you have to wind up playing those rock and roll clubs. And so a good friend of mine, Jerry Lawler, gave me a call on the phone, and I lived in Memphis, Tennessee, and so did he. Went to the same school together, Treadwell High School. And he said, Jimmy, how would you like to manage me? And I said, feet don't fail me now, baby. So I managed Jerry Lawler. Then, of course, we hooked up with the late, great Andy Coppin. I managed Andy Coppin for about a year and a half there down in the Memphis territory. Then I had a phone call from Vince McMahon. I went to New York for 10 years, WrestleMania 1 through 10. Hulk and I left to do a show called Thunder in Paradise, and then wound up with WCW.
You just summarized a long and illustrious career in the world of wrestling. Let's talk about wrestling back in the days in Memphis and what it was to what it is today.
Well, back in the days of Memphis, everything was a car trip. You know, you had to drive everywhere, 4 or 5 wrestlers to a car. You know, we'd take our little box lunches, and it was kind of rough back then to feed your families and everything, but it was probably the best years of our life because everybody wasn't flying on the plane, and you had a chance really to bond more with the people that you were managing. You know, we all stayed at the same hotels and ate at the same restaurants week after week because our city tour was like 7 days a week. We were in Memphis on Monday night, Tuesday, Louisville, Kentucky, Wednesday night, Evansville, Indiana, Nashville on Thursday night, back to Tupelo, Mississippi on Friday, Memphis TV live every Saturday morning, and then we did it all over again 7 days a week.
Craziness. Absolute craziness. Now, the XWF is obviously why you were here, and I think we saw a little bit about that on your jacket here. Tell me a story about the jackets. How did you get into? How did that all begin?
Well, you know, colorful. I've always felt like when I used to watch wrestling, the people like Gorgeous George and people like that, when I'd find these old tapes, they were always real flashy. And I thought if you dress like the people in the audience, why would they pay $30 to see somebody dressed like them? So I thought I'd just dress kind of wild and crazy. And so it's worked pretty good, you know. Everybody says, where do you get your jackets? I said, it's the Blue Light Kmart special. So
the XWF, what is it that we plan or we should expect to see from the XWF, the newest promotion and definitely a hot promotion, no doubt. The excitement level that I've seen here in Milwaukee especially has been incredibly high for this federation, and people are just sort of wondering again. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, it's kind of in your face. Everything's going to be done in front of the people. You know, a lot of times the wrestling promotions, you pay $30 to go see them, and everything's done behind the closed doors. So you're really sitting there watching a big jumbotron going, you know what, I could have watched this at home and not paid the $10 to park and $10 for popcorn and the $30 for a seat. What am I doing? Right. So a lot of things that we're going to do are going to be in front of the people. We kind of put together the past, present, and future together. We've got stars like Piper and, of course, Jimmy Hart back from the past a little bit. We've got current stars like Buff Bagwell and Vampiro, and then new stars like Josh Matthews, formerly from MTV, Kid Cash. And so we're trying to put kind of a happy little medium together, and hopefully the people will love it.
It's definitely a very deep talent pool, and like I said, you know, there's been promotions all over time, all over creation that have been started and may not have lasted long. This XWF thing's going to be around for a while. I definitely can tell that. And it seems like you all are putting a lot of work into it. And like I said, people are really excited about it.
Well, you know, the people asked me, said, what's the difference between you and Vince? And I said, oh, my God, I love Vince McMahon. I spent 10 years there, you know. But I said, you know what? They're that big old Outback Steakhouse. And we're that little old bitty Waffle House. But just remember, the Waffle House is open 24 hours a day.
Oh, we can tell you live in Florida. Because the Waffle Houses are open 24 hours a day down there.
You know what? I should have said White Castle here.
Right? Oh, yeah. Sliders. Sliders, if you will. Let's play a little game. We like to do this with whoever we talk to. And we had Piper on just a few weeks ago. I'm going to say a name or an event. You tell me the first thing pops into your head. All right?
Okay, I'm ready.
Let's start with Andy Kaufman.
Andy Kaufman. Gosh, what a great time it was for me to be with him. He loved wrestling, and he loved talking about Elvis Presley.
Jerry the King Lawler.
First guy I managed, Jerry the King Lawler, kind of brought me into the professional wrestling business, and I guess I feel like an elephant sitting on my tongue all of a sudden. I'll always owe that to him.
Okay. Let's talk about Bret the Hitman Hart, a man who you spent most of your 10 years in the WWF with.
probably one of the greatest tag teams I was ever part of was Bret Hart, along with Jim the Animal Neidhart. It's the Hart Foundation.
Hulk Hogan.
Oh, my gosh, the biggest name I've really ever managed, you know, until you could stand inside the ring with Hulk Hogan and feel the intensity from the fans screaming and yelling. And the whole ring just shakes. And plus, just being with him through the years has done a lot for me, too. He does so much charity work and everything else. And sometimes old Hulkster gets a bad rap, but, you know, it's all wrong because I've been there with him for the last 12 years.
Eric Bischoff.
Eric Bischoff, when I went to work for WCW, Eric was... I guess the chief down there, so he gave me a chance to be there for 7 years. So thank you very much, Eric.
Kevin Nash.
Kevin Nash. I was so happy because the song they come to the ring to, Nash and Hall, the Wolfpack song, guess who wrote it? Oh, boom, 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 boom.
And that's a little thing
Wolfpack's back.
A lot of people don't know is that you are behind a lot of the music that people hear from the wrestlers as they head down to the ring.
Well, you know what? Sexy Boy by Shawn Michaels, Demolition stuff.
I was going to say I think he's cute, but that's
the Road Warriors up there. So I wrote about 30 or 40 songs before we left WWF. And with WCW, Wolfpack song, Buff Bagwell song, American Made by Hulk Hogan. Just so many of them.
Let's talk a little about Scott Hall.
Scott Hall, probably one of the greatest talents ever in this business. I mean, he's got the look, he's got the talk, he's got the wrestling ability, and I wish we had him with us.
Vince McMahon.
Vince McMahon, a genius, and I'll tell you why. When you surround yourself by a lot of people that know a lot about the business, you kind of sit there like going to a cafeteria, and you've got 2 or 3 kind of beans and 2 or 3 kind of potatoes, and you pick out what you want, you mix it together, and then he makes the final decision, you know. And really, a lot of the guys that you see in wrestling now, if it hadn't been for Vince, we wouldn't be standing here now.
Very true, very true. Final name, I guess, Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Oh, man, love Bobby. I always kid him around. I said, I grew up watching Bobby the Brain Heenan. He goes, you're older than me. And I said, no, I'm not. So, no, Bobby's the greatest.
Now, the XWF, there's a huge talent pool already, like we talked about earlier. Who more is it that we can expect or that you'd like to see in the XWF? You sort of touched on Scott Hall, but who else would you like to see in the XWF?
Well, you know, the door's wide open. I tell you what we're really looking for is a lot of talent that's never had a chance to be on TV before, like our big guy, Hell. He's 6'9", and weighs 340 pounds. He's young, but he's learning each night. We got a guy named Ian. He's from Europe. He's tremendous. What do you see him tonight? So we've got a lot of younger stars that we're trying to bring in to do things with. So we just want to give everybody a chance.
Excellent. Well, and this is sort of a hypothetical question, but where do you see the XWF 1 year from now?
Well, I hope we see it on a big network somewhere. No, but we've got some pretty good offers, pretty good bites out there. So we've got our fingers crossed, but there's just so much talent out there. Everybody can't work for the WWF, so we're hoping we'll be the other company that the guys work for.
And quite frankly, in my opinion, from the vibe I picked up from most people, is that since there is only the WWF now, the XWF is the other place to go work. And like you said, people are going to get that chance to get into a national wrestling organization. The XWF is that place.
Well, we hope so. You know, a lot of guys that didn't go to New York, like Big Vito, I always felt like when I was producing the Saturday night shows, Big Vito, we had Chris Benoit, Jericho, Eddie Guerrero, all those guys worked every week for me on that, and our ratings just went right on up the side. Look, here he is now.
Big Vito, who's actually been on this show before. How you doing, Vito? Nice to see you. You promised us we were here for Mayhem about a year ago, and you promised us some cannolis. Now you're back here in Milwaukee. Did you bring them?
I got them in the back. You guys are working, so like
we were looking for catering. We couldn't find it.
It isn't in caters, in the dressing room with the fellas, with the fellas. You know what I'm saying? Like espresso with the guys.
How excited are you to be part of the XWF?
This is going to be one of the best organizations in wrestling history, and you know why? Because we got all the right people in the right places, and Big V is right here in the mix. And for all you paisans out there, get your Italian flags out, get the New York flags out, get the American flags out. Big V, the Staten Island Express, the Palmarati of hard shots to the body, the paisan who's got it going on, and you know why I'm so fly? That's because I'm an Italian guy. Jimmy, I'm out of here. Got to go get ready, okay?
Nice seeing you, Vito. Good luck on the DL.
But you see,
what's a paisan?
But see, that's the difference. I think that's a pizza pie, isn't it?
I'm hungry. I'm going to get my cannoli.
But you see, that's what makes us different, because when you have enthusiasm and you have a lot of the younger kids like that, it's going to help us get to where we need to get to.
And no more prima donnas.
Prima donnas. You don't see any special dressing rooms here. No first-class tickets. No limos.
Well, Jimmy, welcome back to Milwaukee. It's truly an honor to be standing here within you, among your presence.
Hey.
I like to juggle my words quite a bit.
This is rated PG-13.
Yeah.
Before I leave, just remember one thing. Never trust a midget. You know why?
Sure.
Because you never know where he's been. See ya!
Thank you, Jimmy.